Are you up to the challenge to invest in our planet? As we approach Earth Day, here's one way you can do that. Pack a plastic-free lunch. Here's an idea of what that might look like. Skip the straw, drink directly from the bottle or cup instead. How about squeezing condiments from the bottle instead of those little packets? And here's an idea for string cheese. Instead, try cutting pieces from a block. Well, let's dig into other small steps that can stack up to make a real difference. For help with that, we turn to the Vice Chair of the Surfrider Foundation Ocean City Chapter, Malcolm Taylor, who joins us today via Zoom. Malcolm, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
All right, so let's get right to it. Talk to us about the plastic problem. You guys see a lot of it, don't you?
Yeah, we do. We do a lot of beach cleanups, and we work with the Ocean City Chamber of Commerce and some other organizations. And the vast majority of waste that we find throughout and litter is plastic. Part of the problem is that this idea that we're going to recycle it is kind of a misnomer, because the cost to recycle plastics is more expensive than just making virgin plastics. And so, generally speaking, municipalities can't really afford to recycle in an economical manner. So we're effectively passing the buck on to our communities, which results in increased taxes or increased garbage rates, and nobody wants that. But it's expensive to have a viable recyclable program. And the other element here is there's so much of it. The markets for the recycled product, they're just not there anymore. And so the cost of recycling, really, it's got to be accounted for front, whether that's on the manufacturers or a bottle fee or some mechanism by which, if you buy a bottled plastic water for 25 cents, that the cost of figuring out how to clean that up needs to be accounted for. Yep.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
So, as you, like we said, you're vice chair of the Surfrider Foundation. What does that organization do?
So the Surfrider Foundation is a national organization with lots of chapters scattered throughout the United States. And the mission is effectively protection and enjoyment of the world's oceans, waves, and beaches through advocacy, education, research, and activism. And again, the idea is that those people that like to use the beach and swim in the water are entitled to want to keep it clean so that we can enjoy it. So just both from an environmental perspective, but also a selfish perspective. When I go to the beach, I want to be able to swim in the water without getting sick.
Sure, sure. So Malcolm, what else do you see a lot of in the waters off of Delmarva?
Yeah, so when we do our beach cleanups, there's definitely lots of plastic because it doesn't biodegrade, but other litter, from silly things like balloons that people release, or of course, metal cans and just beach toys and that sort of thing. But one of the other things that's maybe not so visible is runoff from agriculture and nutrients and sediment. And so that continues to be a big issue with respect to what's discharged into the bay. And so one of the things I would like to emphasize is that keeping our bays and our oceans clean is not just restricted to when you're at the beach. Habits and stuff can be done upstream too, to help the water that's ultimately discharging into the bay to stay clean. So on the Delmarva Peninsula, probably the biggest challenge we face is minimizing the amount of sediment and nutrients that are running off into the bay.
And this is crucial for the health of the wildlife in the water?
Absolutely. So wildlife, with respect to plastics, they break down to smaller and smaller parts, and wildlife mistake them for food, which then leads to, unfortunately, to killing a lot of the wildlife. But also with respect to the nutrients, they cause algae blooms, and which then reduce the dissolved oxygen in the water, and the nutrients in the sediment, or the sediment will cover the bottom of the bay and the grasses where fish otherwise live and eat. And so, yeah, so all of these things impact the wildlife in the bay in a variety of manners.
So what do you say to the person who thinks that maybe, their actions aren't going to make a difference?
Well, I, it's easy to think. It's easy to think of that, but I like to think of the old saying: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Every journey starts with a single step. We at the Surfrider Foundation Ocean City chapter, we started as a small group. We've done some beach cleanups. We've worked with the mayor's office, the Ocean City Chamber of Commerce, and interestingly enough, there's a lot of other people out there that have the same concerns and the same goals of making sure that Ocean City's waters and beaches are clean. And there's power in numbers. And so we've been able to impart some significant change in the Ocean City community by organizing and primarily getting involved and realizing that there's strength in numbers, and there's a lot of us out there that are dedicated to this cause.
Well, thank you so much for really devoting your life to that cause. Malcolm Taylor with Surfrider Foundation Ocean City chapter. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon, and have a happy Earth Day coming up this weekend.
Yes, thank you so much. And we have a lot of exciting volunteer opportunities. So if anybody's interested in getting involved, you can reach out to the oceancity.surfrider.org. And there's a lot of different ways that you can get involved and learn more about the exciting things that we're doing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Malcolm.